Country, and today I'm going to make a video on building a dehydrator. We have a video that we shot there a while back of Heidi, Mrs. Rain, making jerky on the wood stove with this little dehydrator I built for a while back. And so she wants me to make one that is a collapsible version. And so I'm going to show you what we got here in case you haven't seen that video. So this one here is all welded together out of used angle iron. All this metal here you see is from bed rails, and we have little stainless racks that go on top of this. Obviously this is, can hold 4 racks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it sits right on the wood stove, and works real well in the wintertime when you're burning fires. You can dehydrate meats and do all kinds of different things. But the new one that I want to build is going to be put together with bolts. So I'll have a bolt here instead of having this all welded together. I'll have a bolt here. I'll have a bolt here, and then I'll bolt it here, and I'll bolt it here. Now any of these things I make are going to have little weird holes in them, and that's just because of the bolt holes from the bed rails that I have. Okay, here I have all the metal laid out for the dehydrator, and what I need is I need 4 of these upright pieces. Four at 9 inches, and I need 8 at 8 inches, and I need 14, I need 2 at 14 inches. And then I'll add an additional cross piece in here because it is going to be bolted together. You could probably get by without that cross member, but I might put a little piece of flat bar or something in here to bolt it all together, so it gives it rigidity this way. It'll be plenty rigid this way, but to line it up and get it into square, when this is square, it's nice to have a little cross member in here to give that definition of square on that. So I'll go ahead and get this stuff starting to be cut out. Okay, now I'm in the process of cutting out the parts for the dehydrator. So I have two cut out at 14 inches, and I'm about ready to finish off the cuttings for the shelf supports. I got 6 cut now. I've got 2 more to cut on those, and so I'll kind of take you through a little bit of the process of that. So I've just got these marked off. Gonna have to drill some holes in the first set of shelf supports, so that's something that's going to be new in the design. So now I'm going to go ahead and clamp all this stuff together, or at least the base here, and to where I can figure out how I'm going to drill these holes in here in such a way that it all lines up. So I'm kind of a visual guy, so what I'll do is I'll just kind of hook all this stuff together and look at it and scratch my head and figure out what I'm going to do here. Okay, what I've undergone here is a series of measurements to where I can get this thing perfectly square, and I use the term perfectly loosely. Now I want to go ahead and drill at least some pilot holes in here, if not my finish holes, for the bolts to go in. We'll have to get some like tapered machine screws to go into here, so that it doesn't catch on the shelf support, shelf support here. So I'll go ahead and get those bolts selected and be right back. Okay, I have all my marks lined out to where I want my holes to be for the mounting screws, the 4 mounting screws I'm going to be putting in here. I'm going to machine these down. Going to cut the top hole a little bit bigger, but I want to thread this bottom part so I can carry these both together and secure them. Might go ahead and also put a bolt on the back side for security, but what I found here is a 5mm requires a number 19 drill bit to drill for the tap. I have the mark set here at 3/4 by 3/8 in each corner. I have it all squared up. I have this at 8 1/32. I have this at 8 1/32. And let's see what I got from corner to corner. I got 16 1/16 of an inch. I have 16 1/16 of an inch. So that tells me that the whole unit here is square. I got a distance here that's the same, and I have a cross distance that's the same. If these cross distances were a 1/16 off or whatever like that, they would just be a little bit off square. But I got this exactly, well, exact is a relative term, but I have this to where it's going to be nice and square. So I'm going to go ahead and start drilling my holes here. Okay, that'll help guide my drill straight. But now that I got to beating on this thing, I'd better make sure that everything is still in alignment. Taper this top angle iron, or this shelf support, to accommodate this tapered head here. So the head is hopefully flat with the top of this when it's all said and done. So it recesses in just a little bit. So when your trays slide on here, the tray's gonna not get caught up on the head of the bolt here. So I'm gonna go see if I can find a drill bit that's the same width as the top of this machine screw. So I have a drill bit that is just right at the same diameter as this machine screw here. And what the intention of this is, I mean, you can't use the one that's got the little pilot bit end on them. You have to have the V shape to them like that in order to make this work. But basically what you're going to find out here is I gotta make a hole in here to where it'll accommodate the taper on this machine screw. Now this can just drop in here, and that head will be recessed a little bit, so the drying racks will slide right over top of those. want to be able to take the swivel out of that. So if I put a cross member in here, that will help relieve that. There's another thing that I was thinking about as I was tapping these in, is that I'm not so sure I'll be able to get in there with the screwdriver. I might be able to get in there easy enough to tighten those up. I was thinking it'd be okay before, but I'm kind of questioning that now as to whether or not that'll be able to secure that well enough. So just with the Phillips head screws in here, I'm thinking a nut on the back side instead of machining these in might work better to hold this in place. That's going to hold it pretty stiff, but see how that'll work back and forth. Eventually, we don't want that to happen. So what I'll do is I'll find a cross piece to go in here, 16 inches and a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, I'm back with this little crossbar here to keep this thing square. So I'm just truing up the corners on this thing. There we go. So I need to find a piece of metal that'll stretch between this corner and this corner. That's going to be 16 1/4 inches. Should be able to find center on that where I struck the bolt there with the ball peen hammer. I just take my punch and find center and punch a start hole. Okay, that'll take a little refining, but there's no way that is going to have any give to it now. Built, I have the process of refinishing it. I don't have a sandblaster, so I got to clean this up by hand, and I was going to throw a little paint on here to pretty it up. So my first plan of attack is to burn any of the cutting oils and different things off of here where I've been having cutting oil, and I'll burn that off. Then I'll sand this or take wire brushes to it or do whatever I gotta do, just kind of clean it up a little bit and then throw some paint on it. Now we'll run a little bit of high heat. This is good for 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't think that'll ever reach that temperature. If it does, you're not, you're incinerating whatever it is you're trying to dry, not dehydrating. I don't believe I showed you the racks that go on here, but like I say, Heidi's got a video out there that shows her drying making some jerky on these racks here, and they go, this is still wet so I don't want to put them in there, but they slide right into this dehydrator very nicely, and so it's built to accommodate four of these drying racks, so they work real well. We just get these down here at the store to put the meat, or if she's drying fruit, sometimes she'll dry fruit like apples and dehydrated pears, and she can dehydrate herbs. She made some jerky a couple years ago and vacuum sealed it, and I had some of her last a couple months ago when I went on a trip to Oregon, and it was still as fresh as the day it was put in the jars. I know it takes quite a bit of time to make one of these, but once you make it, it'll last you forever. So hope this helps some of you guys that want to build something like this, or maybe some of you have already built something. Leave something in the comments below. Appreciate you stopping by. Like, subscribe, and have a good day.